Call the matter of People versus Yara del Rio Dominguez. Appearances for the record.
Jason Lisa for the defendant, Your Honor, who is present before the court, out of custody and seated to my right.
Deputy District Attorney Jonathan Henson for the people.
Emergency? Yeah, hi, can you just please get here? There's been an accident. Where's here? Where are you? I'm in front of my school. What's the name of your school? Eisenhower? Okay. I'm sorry.
In our business, in emergency medical care, it's known as the golden hour. And we have roughly an hour to get the patients out of vehicles, into the ambulances, into the airship, to get them to the hospitals, so that if they need to go to surgery to stop some of their injuries, they may have to go with us. We can work with us.
Take you to the police station. You're under arrest for vehicular manslaughter, driving under the influence of alcohol, and possibly murder. Okay? So we'll go to the police station and we'll call the parents and we'll do some processing over there. Okay?
Trauma activation, 16-year-old passenger involved in a multi-casualty incident, one fatality on scene, current GCS is 13, blood pressure 90/64, heart rate 145, no further information at this time. I repeat, this is a trauma activation.
clear. We have it here. And clear.
Clear? Everybody clear?
No pulses.
Call it, time of death, 10:31.
So it sounds like she was a passenger in a car accident, and there was a drunk driver involved. Unfortunately, it was a bad accident, so people died at the scene. She came here, she was very sick. And she was talking to us, and her blood pressure was very low. And her body was trying to fight and trying to keep up, but she had a lot of injuries. Her injuries made it so she couldn't really recover. Unfortunately, we did everything we could, but she was hurt. She passed away. It's kind of bloody in there. Okay, there's a lot of tubes and lines because of the things we had to do to try to save her, but you can take a look and see. More to the right side. Is that your water?
Presided over the trial. Does counsel have any comments?
Submit it.
People submit on the report, Your Honor.
Based on the facts of the case, I'm going to deny probation and sentence the defendant to 10 years in state prison on count 1. That's the aggravated term. A violation of Penal Code Section 191.5A. Consecutive to that, on count 2, I'm going to impose 1/3 the midterm. Another violation of 191.5A, second victim. And then an additional 3 years consecutive pursuant to 23-558 of the Vehicle Code for the 3 additional victims. That they will all run consecutive for a total of 15 years in state prison. Your prison sentence will be followed by a period of parole up to 3 to 4 years. Credits are pursuant to the probation report. I'll impose a restitution fine of $400 pursuant to 1202.4 and a parole revocation restitution fine of $400 pursuant to 1202.45. That fine will be suspended unless and until parole is revoked. You have the right to an appeal this sentence, but you must file a written notice of that appeal within 60 days or you lose that right. You're remanded to the sheriff for delivery to the state prison.
We're gathered here today for a very sad occasion. We are gathered here today to memorialize 2 of our fallen students, Kenji and Ashley. Keep in mind throughout the service that these 2 students were victims. They were victims of the lethal combination of alcohol and crime. When I was a senior in high school, a good friend of mine was killed by a drunk driver. Her name was Karen. Karen had gone to a party one night and run into her ex-boyfriend. And wound up, she didn't have a ride home, so he said he would give her a ride home. Her ex-boyfriend had been drinking. I don't know if she had any idea of how much he had been drinking. But she got in the car with him, and he started driving. And he was driving very, very fast, dangerously fast for the road that they were on. And he hit the soft shoulder of the road, and he lost control of the vehicle. Karen was a little tiny thing, and she flew completely through the windshield, and her body landed 20 feet beyond the vehicle. Karen did not drink and drive that night, but she got into the car with someone who had been drinking and driving, and it cost her her life. This is 40 years later for me, and I remember walking into her funeral as vividly as I'm walking into this today. And I don't ever want to have to do that for one of my students. Be smart, be safe, be loved. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Lieutenant Cirillo from the Rialto Police Department.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the Rialto Police Chief, Mark Twain, he could not be here this morning. He had another commitment, but he'd like to extend himself to all of you, and on behalf of the Rialto Police Department and our traffic supervisor, Robert Smith, and Jerome Wilson, who are coordinating this program along with his staff. One of the who has done a tremendous job of organizing the work of all the APUs. So we're giving them one applause. You know, I thought about what was I going to say this morning to all of you who I don't know. But I will tell you this. I had the fortunate pleasure to work with Ms. Blula and her staff here at the Eisenhower High School 6 years ago. We implemented this program here. And this is a program that we deeply believe in, sincerely believe in, because unfortunately, as part of our job, we've seen many occasions where kids have been hurt as a result of drinking, consuming alcohol, which is illegal, and then getting behind the wheel of the car. So we started this program 6 years ago. This is a national program that takes place all over the world. They say every 15 minutes there's a teenager that's killed as a result of an alcohol-related car accident. Every 15 minutes. For the parents, for the loved ones of those victims, it's a tremendous loss and impact on their lives. And when we met with the kids and their parents before we got going on this particular program this year, we met with them and I gave them an illustration. It's like having a pond and you throw a rock in there. You've kind of seen that before and simulate that, but you throw a rock in a pond and you see the ripples that takes place here. Those ripples reflect the impact that it has on your family and family members and relatives of ever since you were a child, because this is about choices. This life is about choices. And when you choose to get behind the wheel of the car, first of all, when you choose to drink alcohol, and then when you get behind the wheel of the car and you crash and hurt somebody, and you kill somebody, or you die, the impact that it has on a family and all your loved ones ever since you were a child is tremendous. It's ongoing. And for those of you that survive, if you're the driver, if you're fortunate enough to survive, you will never be the same. Because you will be convicted for many, many years. Your family will go through the court process with you, and the pain and agony that they will go through is like the victims of the deceased family, because they're going to be a part of that, and they will live with you and your family for the rest of your life. See, when you get locked up, you're going to miss graduation, if you make it past graduation. You're going to miss birthday parties. You're going to miss weddings. You're going to miss Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the holidays. You're not going to be able to relate to what's going on the outside of the world, outside of those walls. Those memories are gone. Those experiences are gone forever, and you'll never gain those back. So I hope today that in the last 2 days, as we experienced what went out there in front of the street, that you take that and you heed to what we're telling you, because the impact it has is tremendous here. So you're going to hear the rest of the ceremony take place here. Fortunately, we're going through the funeral process here. This is not real life, but it feels like it. Ask these people here, ask the parents here, it feels like it. The good thing about it is you get to leave here today. So life is about choices. We hope and pray that you make the right choice, because you'll never be the same again. Before we move on, I'd like to make some introductions here real quick here. I'd like to introduce a few people here at the school. Of course, you've met the principal, Ms. Bloom. Thank you and your staff very much. You've done a tremendous job as always. Thank you. Would you please give her a welcome applause? Okay, I got a note. Okay, we got a few people here. Ken Taylor, area director. Where are you at, Ken? Mr. Aguilar. Ms. McIver Brown. Where are you at? Our Vice President, Rialto Unified School District Board Member, Ms. Joanne Gilbert. And Board Member, Joseph Martinez. I'd also like to introduce Virginia Gautier from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. In a few moments, you're going to get to hear from some of these people, but I know we have the rest of the program to move on, so we're going to get busy here. And finally, I know you're not here just yet, but your school superintendent, Dr. Seaburn, will be here shortly. Thank you, young men, young women. We sincerely, on behalf of the police department, we sincerely thank you for letting us have this opportunity to share, because drinking alcohol is a very important issue. And then when you choose to get behind the wheel of the car after you do so, and then you hurt somebody, again, it's about choices. Thank you for your time, and let's go ahead and get going. This time I'd like to invite Joanne Gilbert to come up to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you, Lieutenant Cirillo. Good morning. I'm here as a parent, a school board member, and a former teacher. I retired 2 years ago, and I was a high school teacher, and I had the experience of going to funerals for 2 of my students. It's all about choices, as we say today. The choices you make today will follow you the rest of your life. And the choices that some other person may make may also follow you the rest of your life. I was also a victim of a drunk driver. My sister and I were visiting in another town. It wasn't where we lived, but we were on vacation. And we got in the car with someone that we did not know. But we found out when he had turned the car over and we were sitting in the middle of the freeway going in the wrong direction, we found out that he had a history of drunk driving. But he was a friend of someone that my sister knew. So even that happened more than 30 years ago. I can still remember sitting in that freeway and thanking God that it wasn't me who was killed in that accident. We were all safe, but it doesn't help the memory of that incident. As a teacher, I lost 2 students on 2 separate occasions. But one was a really tragic accident because the driver was killed, but 2 of his homies, so to speak, his friends, were injured. One had a really severe head injury, and he was out of school for a very long time, but when he came back, he was not the same student that I knew before. So he's carrying that torture with him for the rest of his life, because he had brain injury from being in that accident. So now that we have prom season coming up and the jubilation of graduation from high school, please, I ask you to make good choices. Pay attention to who your friends are and what they're doing if you go out to parties. If they're drinking, smoking, marijuana, or whatever illegal drugs that are out there, texting, talking on the cell phone, these are warnings to you that you may not be you are not in the right place with that person. So I encourage you to continue doing what you're doing now, but continue to make good choices so that you will live past graduation, past the prom, and be able to talk to your children and your friends about the good times you had and not have to worry about a bad experience or carry the burden of a bad experience from someone drinking and driving for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Cirillo. How many of you like being told what to do? I didn't think so. Doing the right thing and making the right choice is a sign of maturity. And when you start making right decisions, people will stop telling you what to do. But you have to do that consistently. All parents wish for you to learn hard lessons without having to live the adversity of your bad decisions or other people's bad decisions. Sometimes we choose the right thing, but suffer due to someone else's bad decision. That could be drinking. That could be anything. Improve your chances by making the right choice, not to drink, not to drive, or to depart with someone who has been drinking or partying. Extend that to today. They may not be drinking, they may be totally sober, they may be texting. Still have a choice. I have a true story to tell you about my family. It was my son. Is my son. He's still with us. What I want to take away with you from this is what your family and your friends go through when they're involved in a car accident. How many of you have lost a family member or friend? Tap into that right now. You'll get exactly what I'm saying. February 28, 1998, my son Nathan was a senior. He was on track to graduate. He went to school, worked, enjoyed music, and was a contributor to music just like his dad. On February 28th, Nathan decided to go out with friends after work. It was 10 p.m., just hang out. Even though Mom and Dad asked me to come right home, we went to the Christian coffee house to listen to friends' band play. It was 10:30 p.m. when we returned home. We turned the corner, and Nathan's truck was not parked out front of his usual parking space. First emotion was apparent, very anger and concern. Again, please tap into this, because this is what your friends and family go through. We have a self-check for phone messages. This is our reason. So excuse me. We called the cell phone and there was no answer. About 11:30, we went to bed not knowing what was going on. About that time, I raised the chopper flew overhead, and my wife said, "That's our son, Nathan. There's something that Mom just knows." About midnight, my pager went off. Old school, nearly 13 years ago. I called the number and found out it was the sheriff's department. The man on the other end said, "Your son was in a road accident and is being airlifted to County Hospital Trauma Center." We got dressed. We headed to the hospital. On the way, we discussed the possibilities. Were we ready to find him dead or let him die that evening? If accident was that bad. Upon getting to the ER, we were ushered into a private room and given his stats. He was currently having a CAT scan. He might lose an eye. They did not know if there was any brain trauma at that point. The full-size GMC truck had hit a telephone pole, rolled over, skidded 100 feet. No alcohol was involved. His face was dragged on the pavement for about 66 feet. The CAT scan was to see if there was brain damage, where and how much glass needed to be removed from his face and his arm. Two specialists were called in from over midnight, and that night he had 5 CAT scans. We called and put him on 3 prayer lists. We stayed in the waiting room praying for him. Nathan made it and went home after 5 days in the hospital. There were bills, insurance companies to deal with, reports for us to work through. He had 6 plastic surgeries on his face. He has recovered, but still has scars, both emotional and physical. He did graduate in the law of his class. The reason for the accident was he went over to change a radio station. Something just that simple, a choice. He lost control of the truck, a simple lack of judgment for a relatively new driver. Please, improve your chances by making good, mature decisions. Each one of our parents cares for you. Each board member cares for you. I consider you part of my family. Throughout the community considers you part of their family. I'm constantly saying and bragging about my 27,000 grandkids, which you are part of. I don't want to go to any of the funerals. Being sure as mature as you can, don't hang out with peers. Peer pressure only lasts a little while. Good decisions last a lifetime. Thank you.
Please forgive me, I failed to acknowledge a couple of people. Our student board member, Ms. Amanda Rice. Thank you for being here. I'd like to now, one of the person I failed to acknowledge, she's a personal friend of mine. How can I do that to a personal friend? I've worked with this man for 31 years. We're old, I know that. This is, he just recently retired. He's a captain from the Rialto Police Department, a retired captain from the Rialto Fire Department, excuse me. They always want to be cops. But his name is Gabriel. Would you please give him a warm welcome? Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I want to thank everybody for having me out here again. Where's the class of 2011? Raise your hand. All right. Where's the class of 2012? They here also? Okay, so we're trying to get to the seniors today. Well, I'm short of the time here, so we're going to shorten this up. I've been out here to Eisenhower. This is where I went to school. I graduated in '76. This is my alma mater, so it feels like I'm home. Talking to all of you here today, I can sit where you're sitting. And some of this is a little way to go. Really, right now, at this point in time in your life, statistics show that your peers, your friends, actually probably have more impact on you and your decisions right now than maybe even your parents. And I've got a son at home that's going to be 21 soon, and my daughter is going to be 10 soon. So I know this because I'm living. So what I want here to say to you here today is look around, and those that you're sitting by with wherever, they're probably your friends. And it's those friends who are going to impact your decisions probably a lot more than I am today, or maybe even your parents. So what we need to do is realize this, make it a reality, and help one another. Because my friend, when I was sitting where you're sitting, he was a year younger, he was a junior here at Eisenhower, and he's not here today.
He died at age 21. And I would bet that none of you, as goals in life, say to yourself, hey, I want to live to be 21, and then that's it, die. And especially if you're killed by a drunk driver, because that's what happened to my friend, Rock Paulson. Like I said, we went to school together here, we hung out, we did a lot of fun activities together. I got married, my high school sweetheart, the Rock and his fiancée, Donna, they were my wedding, and it was beautiful. And then 3 months later, guess what? He had just shared with me he was going to pop the question to my friend and his fiancée, Donna, and asked her to marry him. And they went out for dinner one night and just showed her 2 blocks away from his house. Happened to ride on Rialto Avenue just east of Meridian. He got strapped right on by a drunk driver. Guy that hit him was also 21. He was 21. Guy was under the influence of PCP and alcohol. Okay? Tragic death. I don't want to hear anything like that happen to you in your life because guess what? That driver didn't get much of a sentence. My friend, he got a death sentence, and I got a life sentence. I've been living with this since 1980 for 31 years. And it was back in 2007 when I was invited here, and I heard another gentleman share a story, and I thought, you know, I need to share Rod's story and my story with all of you. Because if I can save as one of you from living with the pain that I've had living for the last 51 years, that I've lived my job today. I wish I had some graphic stuff to show you. I brought some pictures when I did this last year at Rialto High School. I'm sorry, Carter High School. But we didn't have the AV technology here today to show you. So I'm just telling you a short story of my story. One of these years I'd like to bring Donna, who is his fiancée, who went on to marry another gentleman. She to this day I'm sure struggles as I do. I invited my wife out here to come with me this year. I've done this like for 5 years in a row, but she just found it too painful. It affects, like Lieutenant Cirillo says, the ripple effect. It affects your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your grandparents. It affects a lot of people. So please, I ask that if you, number one, you can't drink till you're 21. But once you turn 21 and it is legal for you to drink and you choose to drink, please don't drink and drive. The impact it could cause affects a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. You know, a lot of this pain that we feel when there's a loss, he feels for all these years. It was actually, we spoke a couple years ago that he started coming out to be a part of this program because it's helped him get over this issue that he has dealt with and kept inside for many years. So, Naz, thank you very much for sharing your information. I'd like to now ask Virginia Cotier from Mothers Against Drunk Drivers to come up and speak. Appreciate your patience, young men and women. Thank you very much.
They're telling me I have 5 minutes to do a 90-minute presentation, so let's see how good I am. All this over here you see and all you're going to see in a few minutes is all make-believe. But let me tell you what's going to happen when it's not make-believe. This is my 18-year-old son. 1 week prior to his senior year at his high school, he was hit by a repeat offender. At impact, my precious 18-year-old was brain dead. He had just called up and said, Mom, I'll be home in 15 minutes. And of course I lectured him. Mom, I'll be home in 15 minutes. I promise. And I said to my son, what every parent says to their child, and that is, will you be careful? And he says, Mom, you worry too much. Nothing's going to happen to the kid. 45 minutes later, we get a knock on the door. That my son had been in an accident, and Matt does not call them accidents anymore, they're crashes. And that he was going home to go to university. They wouldn't tell me his injuries. So I raced down to the hospital. And when I got to that hospital, the young man that I saw at dinner who ate tacos was not the same young man I had seen. There was tubes all over his body. He had a broken leg. His head was bandaged. His body was worn. I could see his heart on the monitor, and the doctor was telling us, brain dead. I didn't know what brain dead meant. I know what brain dead means now. And the doctor told me, well, let me tell you this. Your son now will never open his eyes. He will never sit up. He will never smile, and my son has the deepest dimples. He will not go back to school. He will never marry. He will never have children. And when you're old and gray, he will not be there for you. His brain is dead. We can leave him on life support, and yes, he will outlive you, or you can let him go. I can remember being pregnant with my son. I can remember the doctor always saying, what a strong heart this baby has. You know, it took 45 minutes for that strong heart to stop. I'm standing there begging the doctors to do something, but there was nothing they could do because someone made a choice to snort coke, to drink, and then drive. And that's why my son is sitting here, or laying here, healthy, a week before his senior year that he was so looking forward to. Now I'm going to tell you what happens when your parents get that knock on the door. And this is something that no one ever tells teenagers. But you know what? I'm going to tell you because you need to know. Your parents will be told they need to come to the hospital or to the morgue to ID your body. Okay? Your parents will stand there and watch you die because of a choice that either your friends made or someone else made. Now when we bury you as parents, we bury you 3 times. The first time is when they take your body to the coroner's office, then the morgue. The doctor, the mortician will tell your parents, bring something nice. Of course they do. There is a wake, and your parents will watch as all your friends pass by your casket. My son's friends were devastated. The girls were in tears. The boys were angry. The next day, your casket goes to the church. But you know what? Before my son's casket went to the church, I went back to the mortuary and I told that mortician, please let me see my son one more time. So I went there, and as they were closing his casket, there was a sparkle. It was his class ring. And I told that mortician, I know today I have to bury my son, but not his class ring. So when I go to high school to make presentations, I tell you, this is an important ring of his, and now I wear it, and he has my support. Then there's a reception, and someone will say, if you need anything, we're here for you. No, you're not. You got the curse. You had a death in your family. That's the first time. The second time we bury you is when we have to go into your room with bags and boxes, and we have to decide, hey, what do I keep? What do I throw away? This is the wallet my son had in his pocket that night. I've got that, I've got pictures, and guess what else I have? The graduation cap that he did not have a chance to wear because of that drunk driver. I went to graduation because, of course, I had a niece graduating, but because all of my son's friends, who were my boys, were graduating. And one of them handed this to me and said, here, take this. Because of a drunk driver, our senior year was messed up. I took this, and the sad thing about it is, a month later, this young man was out boating at Paris Lake and was hit and killed by someone driving under the influence of alcohol. The third time we bury you, you guys, is we bury you deep in our hearts. And we hope we never forget you. We hope we never forget those crazy clothes you used to wear. The way you used to always come home with your friends and say, hey, Mama, what's to eat? And you know you have enough for one, but not enough for 4. But they were stretching. That crazy music. One thing you need to do, I know it's a tough time in your life and you think your parents don't know anything. Hey, we were teenagers once, we know it all. And you are probably having fights. But do something different between now and the end of your senior year. Go up to your parent or your guardian, kiss them on the forehead and say, I love you. And then turn around and walk away. You're going to leave them like, because right now, there is that problem. And one thing that I hear from parents all the time when they've lost a loved one, I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. I didn't have a chance to say, I love you. And that is important, and you are their lives. So please, please remember, no, there is no drinking. It is against the law for anyone to supply any alcohol to anyone under the age of 21. I don't care if you're parents. It is against the law. Wait till you turn 21. And when you turn 21, get your designated drivers, because we're not prohibitionists. We don't care. It's none of our business to what you drink, where you drink, how you drink, or when you drink, okay? Please, please remember, when you turn 21, you're designated drivers. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Obviously, you can feel the passion and you have a heart. You feel the compassion that she feels about this, the loss that never be replaced, and to be able to come here and share that story, her experience, her loss is overwhelming. We're going to move on our program, and we have a dance routine that we'd like to have the students come out and perform for you. Which, again, we appreciate your patience, but this program is so important, and this whole thing is, we're just trying to get a message to you guys. Please listen, take heed to what we're telling you. Thank you.
To his family. Can you guys hear me? Okay, he says, to my wonderful mother and father, there is never enough thank you in the world to let you both know how much I appreciate what you have done for me. I thank God every day for you giving me life and providing a warm home full of lots of love and laughs. Oh, Mommy dearest, I will miss your laughs, your warm hugs, and having you tell me every morning when I leave for school that you love me and make sure you learn something today. To my wonderful bright father, I love you so much. You're the best dad a kid could ever dream of. Thank you for always being there for me through everything, all the sports and all the aches and pain. Mom and Dad, you have showed me the meaning of unconditional love. To my one and only brother Kiyoshi, who I can really express myself to, and the one who I believe that understood me the most. I love you, big brother, mommy, and daddy. A limb has fallen from the family tree. I keep hearing a voice that says, grieve not for me. Remember the best times, the laughter and the song, the good life I lived while I was strong. Continue my heritage. I'm counting on you. Keep smiling, and surely the sun will shine through. My mind is at ease. My soul is at rest, remembering all how I truly was blessed. Continue traditions, no matter how small, going with your life. Don't worry about falls. I miss you all dearly, so keep up your chin until the day comes when we're together again. Love always, Kenji.
This is from Ashley. I was killed today by a drunk driver. I never got to tell you how much I love you, and I will never have the chance again. I know I give you attitude from time to time because I didn't clean my room, take out the trash. But I know only that because I know you did it because you cared. You taught me never to do drugs, to tell me to never drink. Even though you raised me right, I was still a victim of drunk driving. You will never get to see me walk in my high school graduation. I will never get to see you become successful, that person you raised me to be. Now I understand why you tried so hard to hide me away from the world, not because you did not trust me, but because you could trust others. It was your way of trying to keep me safe, but either you or could never prevent it to that tragedy that happened here today. I just want to let you know. I just want you to know that I listened. I didn't drink and drive. I love you, Mom, and please tell my sisters I love them. Tell them they are the best. Tell my grandma not to cry. Mommy, I'm sorry for everything, for having guys. I can't use. I just want to say that this program was very stressful for the parents, and I hope you guys really take this to your heart. And it's very painful just to see my daughter there. Thank you.
Now I'd like to ask Gabriel to come up and read her letter.
My name is Yara, and I am responsible for the death of Ashley Guzman and Kenji Maddox. On April 14, 2011, I decided to drive under the influence of alcohol. Ashley and Kenji were my friends. When I got in the car, I was well aware I was under the influence, but decided to drive anyways, not knowing the consequences I'd face. It was only a short drive, and I didn't think anything would happen. I'm completely sorry for putting Ashley and Kenji at that type of risk. I'm not sorry enough for killing Ashley and Kenji. I feel completely guilty for taking the life of two innocent people who had so much going for them. Ashley and I have been friends since our sophomore year, and I've known Kenji since middle school. Not once did I ever think I'd be the one responsible for their death. I would like to apologize to Kenji and Ashley's mom and dad for killing their children that will not be replaced. And I'd like to apologize to the whole senior class for killing their friends and classmates, all because I was driving under the influence and made a stupid decision. For the rest of my life, I will always remember all the wonderful moments and memories I had of them. And for the rest of my life, I will remember that I was the one responsible for ending the lives of two innocent people who were to live on. And and ours should be the memories we have of them who shall live on.
Thank you.
Please God, I'm only 17. The day I died was an ordinary school day. How I wish I had taken the bus. But I was too cold for the bus. I remember how I wheedled the car with my mom. Special favor, I pleaded. All the kids drive. When the 2:50 bell rang, I threw all my books in the locker. I was free until 8:40 tomorrow morning. I ran to the parking lot, excited to the thought of driving a car and being my own boss. Free! It doesn't matter how the accident happened. I was goofing off, going too fast, taking crazy chances, but I was enjoying my freedom and having fun. The last thing I remember was passing an old lady who seemed to be walking awfully slow. I heard the deafening crash. I felt a terrific jolt. Glasses still flew everywhere. My whole body seemed to be turning inside out. I heard myself scream. Suddenly I awakened. It was very quiet. A police officer was standing over me. Then I seen a doctor. My body was mangled. I was saturated with blood. Pieces of jagged glass were sticking out all over me. Strange that I couldn't feel anything. Hey, don't pull that sheet over my head. I can't be dead. I'm only 17. I got a date tonight, and I'm supposed to grow up and have a wonderful life. I haven't lived it yet. I can't be dead. Later, I was placed in a drawer. My parents had to identify me. Why did they have to see me like this? Why did I have to look at my mom's face when she faced the most terrible ordeal of her life? Dad suddenly looked like an old man. He told the man in charge, yes, he's my son. The funeral was a weird experience. I saw all my relatives and friends walk towards the casket. They passed by, one by one, and looked at me with the saddest eyes ever. Some of my buddies were crying. A few of the girls touched my hand and sobbed as I walked away. Please, somebody, wake me up. Get me out of here. I can't bear to see my mom and dad so broken up. My grandparents are so racked with grief, they can barely walk. My brothers and sisters are like zombies. They move like robots in the days. Everybody. No one can believe this. I can't believe this is happening. Please don't bury me. I'm not dead. I have a lot of living to do. I want to laugh more and run again. I want to sing and dance. Please don't put me in the ground. I promise if you give me one more chance, God, I'll be the most careful driver in the whole world. All I want is one more chance. Please, God, I'm only 17.
The title of that poem was, Please God, I'm only 17. It's very heartfelt and a very emotional poem for her to read and put yourself in that position. Okay. Next person we'd like to have is Danny Wells. The title of this poem is Friends Don't Have Friends Who Drink and Drive.
Friends don't let friends drink and drive. Near to the door, he paused to stand as he took his class ring off her hand. All who were watching did not speak as a silent tear ran down his cheek. And through his mind, the memories ran of the moments they walked and ran in the sand, hand in hand. But now her eyes were so terribly cold, for he would never again have her to hold. They watched in silence as he bent near and whispered the words, I love you, in her ear. He touched her face and started to cry as he put on his ring and wanted to die. And just when the wind began to blow, as they lowered her casket into the snow, this is what happens to men alive. With friends let friends drink and drive.
We appreciate your patience. We'd now like to please ask your superintendent of the Rialto Unified School District, Dr. Horace Ingram, to come up and address you.
Good morning.
You've heard a lot of stories today, and sometimes those stories seem so distant, but those stories are real. The gift of life is very precious. Treat it that way. Don't let anyone or anything take it away from you. I want to share a story that's very dear to me, and I'm still touched when I see that casket there. I had a friend of mine that I grew up with, played ball with in college. He worked 18 years in a corporation in Chicago. Became the youngest executive in the history of that company. On the night that they named him vice president, they had a huge party for him. A lot of celebrations. He was not a drinker. But that night, he was very excited about the fact that he had received a promotion that he had always wanted. He had some drinks with the people who were at the party. Shortly after the party, as he was driving home, he had just bought a new home, had 3 children and a wife. He was killed in an accident. And he was the cause of the accident. When they went to notify his wife, she couldn't believe it because she said he wasn't a drinker. And he wasn't. And when the people at the party told the story, he only had a few drinks. But that's all it took. It took his life. When I received the call, I was stressed also because I knew that he had never drank before. But it shares with us the story told to me and to those of us who were dear to him is that it doesn't take a lot of drinks. It may just take one that will change the way you see things, and because you see it different, your body's going to react differently. When there's a death in a family, it just doesn't affect the person who died. It affects everyone. Family, friends. You look at this class that's here now. 5 years from now, 3 years from now, this class won't be the same. Somebody's going to be missing from this class for whatever reason. Don't give your life away. Don't let anyone take it away. When you see, if any of you, how many of you have ever attended the funeral of someone dear to you, to see your hands? It's not a pleasant sight. And you hear people go to these funerals and they say we're going to have a celebration of life. You're really not having a celebration of life. You're having an announcement of death. That's what it is. How that person lived will be told in many different ways. I don't think we've had, since I've been here, a huge problem with alcoholism, but you know better than I do. And sometimes we let celebrations turn into disasters. There are other ways to celebrate victories and good things in your life. Try to choose those things. Choose your friends wisely. Don't let others take you in a direction that you know you shouldn't be. Why don't you just try one drink? That's what the person tells you. And then you get caught up in it and something else happens. We don't want to lose any of you. And we certainly do not want to lose you to any drug or controlled substance. These police officers that are here today, I appreciate what you've done in organizing this program. There are not many programs like this in other districts. I hope you benefited from it. Make a pledge to yourself today. I want to keep my life. I do not want to give it away. May God bless you.
Thank you. United for a special treat with the amazing grace that we perform.
Thank you for your patience. We're just about done. Give us a few more minutes of your time, okay?
Thank you. Before we close, after I will put on the video, for sure, a few minutes, and then I will leave you out of the My wife Cynthia and I are funeral directors. We have a tough job every day to walk families through the death of a loved one. And when we have somebody who's older in their 80s, we're very happy, believe it or not. We may live a full life and we can start a full life. But when it's a young person, it's the worst. And when families come in and say to us, it's like a dream, this can't be real. And the casket and urn behind us may be empty, but those will be filled soon enough. And it is very real. And one thing I want to stress is not everybody may drink. Everybody tests, am I right? Everybody tests. And that's an increasing problem. You're not that good. I'm not that good. I can't do a quick text while I'm running. Neither can you. It will cost you everything. When I was in high school, I had a friend who was very charismatic and outgoing, popular guy. Always had this big, great smile. And he killed a kid with his car. And I saw him years after high school, and his face was down. He was working at a gas station, and I ran into him, and he said, "My life is gone." And to this day, he hangs his head low because of what happened, because of that choice that he made. So we ask you today to make the right choice. Don't drink and drive, don't text and drive, and tell all your friends when they're about to do it to make their own choice. Thank you. In closing, I'm grateful for everybody for, again, for networking part of this very, very important program. On behalf of the Christian Company, again, put out here for his country's gratitude for all of the followers with the senior members of the family. We're going to do everything we want. All of what we do. Thank you. Before we continue to do this stuff here, you get one something like that. You get one something like that. Okay, this is what I'm saying, okay? You guys have to remember? You do it with the very good okay, so that's what we're going to do. Today we have that okay? Today we have serious decisions about serious disability. When we walk out of here, please give me 30 seconds, okay? When we walk out of here, we can see a fire, class, that's what we like about it. We're going to do it. It's a please, and we'll take it around the way it's out here. All right, conservative, so definitely give me that. What we saw yesterday was a big struggle in the hospital. And unfortunately, these guys have been brought to each other and like they're this is for our county division, the fire departments, all of these services that we saw yesterday were held back here. The fire, the sheriff department, so we were they've got a whole staff of the sheriff, the deputies, everyone, not yet class, because they believe in the program like I do. And the way to put the other people to the Congress, and then thank you, what I said, again, I said it, my good friend, I'm going to do this, as possible, make the most of the relationship. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Thank you.
We would like to thank the one officer that provides every single day to help us make this happen.
Officer